Do not for a second think that because Deontay Wilder obliterated Dominic Breazeale in one round, that we're going to see something similar when Anthony Joshua fights Andy Ruiz. Oh, no, we're not. Do not think that AJ is going to do a demolition job on Ruiz in one round. That ain't happening. Deontay Wilder against Breazeale was a bad style matchup for Breazeale and a good style matchup for Wilder. Wilder had a huge speed advantage against an opponent who was a massive target, defensively very open, and had been dropped a bunch of times before. Whereas here, with AJ and Ruiz, Ruiz is actually the faster man. So unlike Wilder, AJ's at a speed disadvantage in this fight against Andy Ruiz. He's not as fast as Ruiz, at least not in terms of hand speed. Foot speed, he's probably faster. But hand speed, no. On top of that, Ruiz has never been knocked down in a fight. Now, granted, Ruiz has never been in with somebody who hits as hard as Anthony Joshua, but he's still never shown any kind of fragility when it comes to punch resistance before. And if somebody was vulnerable around the whiskers, you normally would have seen some indication of it by the time a guy has reached Andy Ruiz's level or stage in their professional boxing career. How many fights has Ruiz had now? He's had 33 fights. 33 fights in, we've never seen the guy wobbled. We've never seen the guy shaken. He's fought for the heavyweight title before against Joseph Parker. So will AJ even be able to seriously hurt this guy? Probably, but you don't know because Ruiz has never shown any vulnerability in terms of punch resistance for his first 33 fights. He might turn out to be an Oliver McCall for all we know in terms of punch resistance. Yeah, we have to see what effect AJ's punches have on this guy. So yeah, do not expect AJ to blow this guy out early. You know, certainly not in the first round. If he does manage to get him out of there early, you know, maybe 3-4, something like that. But I am starting to believe that this might actually turn out to be a very, very competitive fight while it lasts. You know, let's say it lasts 4 or 5 rounds. I wouldn't be surprised to see AJ have to take some shots in there and AJ put under pressure. Would not surprise me at all. You know, because again, styles make fights. And the style matchup here, from what I can see, is a lot more even in terms of the style matchup. I'm not saying it's an even fight. AJ is a favorite for a reason, right? A rightful, justifiable favorite. But I'm just saying that the styles match up in a more even kind of way, you know, in a sense that AJ doesn't have the huge speed advantage over Ruiz. You know, he's not going in there against someone who's been dropped a bunch of times. Dominic Breazeale had been dropped in what? 3 of his last 5 fights or something going into the Wilder fight. He'd been dropped by Mansour, dropped by AJ, dropped by Izu Agono. And that was his last 5 or 6 fights or something like that, 3 times. Andy Ruiz ain't been dropped like that. Andy Ruiz doesn't have a great defense. I'm not going to lie to you about that. But his defense ain't as bad as Dominic Breazeale's defense. He can block and slip and all that kind of stuff. And of course, Andy Ruiz is short. So he's not as big a target as a Dominic Breazeale. You can't see the gaps in his defense as easily if you're a big, tall guy like Joshua. You're having to look down on Ruiz. It's harder to see the gaps in his defense. But with Wilder, when he's looking across at someone a similar height to himself, huge target, extremely slow, who's got this big open guard, you can see the openings a lot easier. So, yeah, don't expect AJ to blast Andy Ruiz out in one. Do not expect that at all. I could be wrong, of course. It's heavyweight boxing. Anything can happen. But I don't think I will be wrong about this one. We'll see. There's a chance that Deontay Wilder may be ringside for this fight. And Deontay Wilder's performance against Breazeale really puts AJ under pressure. It does. Because that's a common opponent. And Wilder did a much better job on him than AJ did. So that puts AJ under pressure. He's already under pressure because he's fighting in the United States. It's his DAZN debut in America. Okay, I know he's fought on DAZN before, but it's the first time he's fought on DAZN on American soil. And they're really, hoping for something special from him. He's taken this opponent as a late replacement, a guy who's fast. So there's a lot of pressure on AJ right now. I feel there's more pressure on AJ because of Wilder's performance against Breazeale. If Wilder had struggled with Breazeale and it had maybe gone the distance or late, I think AJ would have been under less pressure. But now I think he's under more pressure. And he was already under pressure, but now he's under more pressure. Will he rise to the occasion? Or will the pressure maybe get to him a little bit? The pressure to perform, the pressure from the crowd, the expectations. I personally think that after AJ versus Ruiz, and a lot of people have already changed their minds about AJ versus Wilder. A lot of people have already said, you know what? I think Wilder beats AJ based upon what Wilder did to Breazeale. And just his punching power is crazy. He's so far, he's like a sniper at long range with that right hand. A lot of people have already changed their mind. But I think even more people are going to change their minds and be picking Wilder over AJ after this Ruiz fight. Because I think AJ is going to find that this is not a walk in the park. Yeah, even if it ends, let's say 4 or 5 rounds, I think he's going to know that he's been in a fight. I think he's going to know he's been in the fight. I wouldn't be surprised if it turns out to be a very rough and tumble affair. So, look, AJ should be the physically stronger man. I think he definitely hits harder. He's obviously got the pedigree. But Andy Ruiz wasn't a bad amateur. He did all right. He was on, I believe, the Mexican national team and whatnot. Oscar De La Hoya. And I think there's been several fighters anyway, Mexican fighters, who have come out and said, you know what, this is a tough fight for AJ. Andy can fight. Even though he looks like a doughboy, he can fight. So we'll see. And also, here's one good thing that will come out of it. I mean, hey, if AJ versus Ruiz is a good fight, that's a good thing. But another good thing which could come out of AJ having a tough night is that Wilder and his team might be even more, it might give them more confidence and more impetus to make the undisputed unification. If they see AJ looking a little vulnerable and they're confident because of what Wilder did to Breazeale, they're like, okay, let's take him now. He's vulnerable now. Let's do it now. Ruiz gave him issues. That is a positive to take from the situation if AJ ends up in a rough and tumble fight with Andy Ruiz. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. It's happening. I'm out. Join me on Patreon. I upload a minimum of 2 podcasts every single week, covering a wide variety of controversial topics, as well as live stream Q&A sessions. Take a look on screen right now at some of the podcasts I've produced so far. For just $3 a month, the equivalent of about £2 a month, you get access to all my new podcasts and my entire back catalogue of past podcasts, including my popular Confessions of a Nightclub Bouncer series. You can listen on your computer or on your smartphone or tablet by downloading the Patreon app from the Google Play Store or the App Store for free. The Patreon app also allows you to download each podcast in MP3. For less than the price of a cup of coffee, you get access to dozens of hours of exclusive content. It's easy to sign up, there's no contract, and you can cancel at any time. So come and join our community of free and critical thinkers by signing up with me here on Patreon today.